My ex-girlfriend's super conservative parents found out I was lying to them when I said I never had sex with their daughter and would wait until after marriage, and now I think her dad is going to tell my equally conservative parents. Hello good people of Reddit, I frequent this sub a lot and I know it's filled with lots of good people who give pretty good advice. Throwaway because friends know my Reddit account. Sorry in advance if it sounds rushed or anything, I'm kind of rushed and just wrote what I could. I'll answer any questions that anyone may have. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep to the main essentials. I, 21M, met Megan, 19F, last summer and we began dating. We were both virgins at the time. I had messed around with other girls before but had never actually gone all the way. She basically saw it as if I had already lost my virginity though. She has really conservative parents, as do I, who believe that you should hold off until marriage to have sex, etc. Well, long story short, after dating for a while we began having sex. We always used protection and were careful. I just want to stress the fact that she was 18 at the time we started dating and turned 19 while we were together. Although she was held back a year, she was still a senior in high school while I was already in college. While we dated, her dad once asked me if I had ever had sex before, and I lied and told him no. She had told me to lie for us, so I did. He knew where my parents worked, and I guess call me paranoid, but they have a history of making rash decisions, so I didn't want there to be a chance they would try to reach out to my parents and tell them what I had done. We broke up in February because the relationship wasn't working. We were fighting a lot, and we decided to go our separate ways. It wasn't exactly amicable, but we have talked a handful of times since and have been civil. I've tried to push that whole relationship out of my life and move on. So, on to the problem at hand. She texts me today out of the blue telling me that if anyone from her family contacts me, to not tell them anything or answer any questions. I asked her why, and she told me she had told her sister that she wasn't a virgin anymore and that she had had sex with me and one other guy after we broke up. Her sister told her parents, so she wanted to warn me before they reached out. I didn't really think anyone would bother contacting me, so I shrugged it off, told her whatever, and left it at that. Now her dad just sent me a message on Facebook telling me he needs to speak with me when I have a chance. I haven't opened the message so it doesn't show as read, but I saw the notification on my phone. Yes, I do realize that I'm 21 and if he tells my parents it shouldn't matter because I'm on my own and they don't really have a say in my life anymore, which they don't, but they believe in waiting until marriage for sex for religious reasons. If they find out I had sex, it will really hurt them and most definitely cause a rift in our relationship. I've already had a rocky relationship with them and I don't want to make it worse. My question is, what should I do? Should I ignore the dad? What if he contacts my parents and tells them? Should I tell him anything? I don't want to argue whether I should care if my parents find out or about religious morals, just about the situation with my ex's parents. I really appreciate any advice and support you guys can offer. /relevant comments. Commenter. Ignore him. You broke up like 7 months ago, her seg's life isn't her dad's business, your seg's life isn't his business, or your parents' business for that matter. Yeah, it would suck if your parents found out and wanted to hold it against you that, at 21 years old, you've had segs before, but that's pretty naive and ridiculous of them. Either way, what's done is done, and talking to this guy seems like a waste of time, in my opinion. Additional info from Op. I don't believe I owe him any explanation or apology, and I will refuse to give one. This whole thing is between him and her, and I wouldn't want to touch that family drama with a 10-foot pole. Already poked her with my 10-foot pole and look where that ended, haha. I'm just going to leave it and see what happens tomorrow, if he messages me again or if my parents call me angrily about what's going on. They haven't already, so I'm guessing he still hasn't gone nuclear. I've always debated coming clean to my parents, obviously not telling them everything, but just that I'm not a virgin and, well, it happens, and it is what it is. I haven't dated anyone since, so it's not like they can blow up on me or stop something, since there's nothing to stop. I did recently move out of their house to an apartment states away. I'm paying for it myself, but they pay for my health and car insurance, so I'm guessing worst case scenario is they take both those away or I'm not welcome home anymore. Both options suck, but what else is there to do? Op adds an edit to his post. So I have been reading all of your comments, and I appreciate everything everyone has been saying. I decided not to answer him and just wait it out. She texted me again, telling me she was sorry but that she came clean to her dad and hopes everything works out and that he doesn't take measures. I don't know what that means, frankly, I don't really care. I agree that this is between him and her, and we've been broken up for a while. There's no reason he should be looking to me for an explanation. She texted me and told me not to ignore her dad because he has my parents' phone number and will call them if he has to. I talked to my roommate and a few of my friends who live near my apartment, and they advised me to message him back but feel out the conversation, don't admit to anything and don't justify anything. It is what it is, and it happened. I honestly don't see what he gets out of talking to me or lecturing me or whatever he wants to do. I do hope he doesn't call my parents because that would be a real jerk thing to do for literally no reason at all. This whole thing is such a headache that I thought was supposed to be over with. I appreciate all the input and will update once I can / have something to update with. Commenter 2. Take measures. Screw that noise. If he persists, let him know that you have no business with him, that you and his daughter are not together, and that any further contact with you or your family will be considered harassment and you'll be filing a police report as such. Then again, could take measures mean this delusional nutjob thinks his little girl is too much of a little girl to know any better? Does he have it in him to accuse you, or force his daughter to accuse you, of SA? That would be my sole concern. Ops response. I don't know if he would. She texted me and told me she came clean to him, that she told him she's not a virgin and that she did it with me and that other guy. I have the text where she tells me that, just in case, and I won't delete it. I also have a ton of friends who used to be mutual that can testify she told them we had sex and that it was consensual. So if push comes to shove, I have witnesses who can say they heard it from her firsthand. Op adds a second edit to his post. Wow, this has really blown up way bigger than I thought it would. I've been reading through all of the comments and appreciate all the advice from you guys. So, on to the update. I woke up this morning and my dad called me. I feared the worst, but he only needed basic tech support for his computer, and that was all he wanted. I felt relieved and went through my day. A little while ago, my sister called me and asked what my ex's dad's name was. I told her, and she said he had called dad and left a voicemail saying he was going to try and call again today. Most of my family was there and I was on speakerphone, so they asked if I knew anything, and I told them I wouldn't know why my ex's family would try to contact them after us being broken up for such a long time. My dad said it was odd and that he'd wait for the call and see what was up. He figures her dad just wants advice on something and said he'd let me know what it's about. I called my sister shortly after and told her why he was calling, and her response was literally bursting out in laughter. She thinks it's really weird for him to do this because he gains nothing from calling us. My ex is obviously not pregnant, and we both don't think he'd try to pull the consent card, so we figured he just wants to tell on me, basically, and that would be that. My sister and my dad are hanging out all day today, and she told me not to worry about it and that it'll be okay. She'll be texting me to let me know or give me a heads up if anything happens. As soon as I get a response, I'll let you guys know. Update 1 month later. So, I tried making this post a little while back, but it was taken down because it was an update. I don't know. Either way, a lot of you asked for an update, so here it is. Hopefully this one isn't taken down. Wow, so that last post pretty much blew up more than I thought, haha. I want to thank everyone who commented on it. I may not have been able to respond to everyone, but I did read them and really enjoyed some of them, as well as appreciated the advice. So, I wanted to wait until after the weekend to post the update because a lot happened, and oh man, it's a pretty good update that most of you will enjoy. So her dad called my dad and was very emotional and pretty pissed off that I lied to him, in the sense that I not only told him I hadn't slept with her but didn't plan on it. What else are you supposed to say? Yes, I plan on going hard on the paint? WTF? My dad was pretty taken aback and didn't really know what to say. Her dad continued on, saying how he wanted to let my parents know what a man I was and how I took his daughter's virginity, and that it needed to be fixed. My dad just told him he was sorry, that he was disappointed in me, and that he would handle it. He talked to him some more, calmed him down, then hung up and blocked his number. My dad called me and told me what had happened. I did not give them a heads up. He was pretty calm about it. For a bit, he thought the guy wanted money or something, but when he realized he basically just wanted to tattle, he left it at that. My mom, on the other hand, called me shortly after and flipped out on me about how I could have gotten her pregnant, and asked if I had even thought about what would have happened if she had gotten pregnant, or if I got an STD, and a whole bunch of other things. Basically, a fun time. I went home this past weekend to pick up something from my parents' house that I needed for my apartment, something that was mine, just couldn't take it with me the first time because it didn't fit in the car. So, it was a pretty awkward weekend. I did see my sister, and she made so many jokes about how one would go about fixing a situation like this, as my ex apparently wanted to. Because, you know, virginities are basically sold and given and whatnot. But yeah, that's the update. All is well for now, many awkwards were had, relationship with parents is much strained. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. What a crazy person. That whole religious thing of a father caring about and controlling a daughter's sex life is so incestuous and perverted. It's pretty much unthinkable in my culture and just seems so wrong. I'm not surprised someone who buys into this mentality is also the kind of person who feels the need to tattle on someone. What a loser. You pretty much came out as best you could in a situation where you were forced into dealing with a grade A nutter. Sucks about your seg's life becoming a family spectacle, but them's the breaks. Ops response. I don't know, there was more to it, like, this was a couple weeks ago and I still get calls from my parents where they hint at how disappointed they are and whatnot. I didn't really care too much about the lecture or getting in trouble or anything like that. It's just that I've had a really strenuous relationship with my parents for a very long time now, and all these things just add more to it. I'm just kind of tired of always fighting and being stressed out by just the thought of visiting home. Commenter 2. You are an adult, and you aren't always going to agree with your parents. You get to make your own choices now, and your parents can either approve of those choices or not, but their involvement ends there. The harder they push you to conform to their ideas instead of your own, the more they push you away. It's already happening. The thing you need to recognize for your own peace of mind is that the strained relationship is not your fault. Children are not physical and idealistic clones of their parents. Children have their own minds and hearts. And kids grow up, sometimes moving away from their parents' idealistic moorings. That's life. Hopefully, your parents will come to see this and accept it, and ultimately accept you as you are.